21.4 Leaves by Jorge Gutierrez, Rodrigo Cuadra, and Ana Jimenez. Structure.
The leaf is divided into two parts, the blade and the petiole. The blade is a broad, flat part of the leaf that collects all the sunlight. The petiole is a thin stalk structure that connects to the blade. Leaves have a dermal tissue with an internal system of vascular tissue, which are the phylum and the phloem.
Leaf tissue.
The leaf tissue has three main structures: word cells, stomata, and the mesophyll. The word cells surround the stomata and can open and close by changing shape. The stomata is the site of transpiration and gas exchange. The mesophyll is located between the two dermal layers where the phylum and the phloem runs through.
Stomata and word cells. Stomata's function is basically do the breathing of the plant by opening and closing. They do this to intake carbon dioxide and release oxygen. Word cells' function is to regulate the opening and closing of the stomata. Photosynthetic structures.
Most leaves are specialized systems for photosynthesis. Leaves may be simple or compound. When we say simple, it means that it has one blade. When we say compound, it means that it has many blades. Plants that have leaflets are the ones who contain multiple blades. The leaves are the main sites for photosynthesis. The upper surface of the leaf gathers light. The underside is in charge of gas exchange.
Two types of mesophyll cells.
The leaf tissue structure mesophyll has two types of cells. One, under the dermal layer of the leaves, there is a specialized cell that absorbs much of the light that enters the leaf. Two, beneath this layer is a spongy mesophyll. This layer contains many air spaces which connects with the stomata, allowing carbon dioxide and oxygen to diffuse in and out the leaf. Similarities. Both of the cells contain chloroplast. Both of them are found in the mesophyll layer. Differences. The palisade mesophyll are tall and rectangular. Their function is to absorb light. The spongy mesophyll main function is to get carbon dioxide and release oxygen.
Leaf adaptations.
Leaf adaptations depend on their environment. Some examples of these adaptations are cacti leaves, which are sharp spines that prevent water loss and protects them from the predators, and pine leaves, which have a thick waxy cover which protects them from damage.
21.1 Plant life cycles. Plant life cycles alternate between producing spores and gametes.
Alternation of generations, a life cycle which alternates between diploid and haploid cells. Diploid phase A. Mature sporophyte has specialized cells that divide by meiosis to produce haploid spores. Haploid phase A. The spore divides by mitosis and grows into a mature gametophyte. A sporophyte is a spore-producing plant, and a gametophyte is a gamete-producing plant.
The red arrow indicates haploid stages. The blue arrow indicates diploid stages.
Life cycle of an unvascular plant. Moss. Unvascular plants are the only plants in which the gametophyte is not dominant. Sporophyte. Moss sporophytes are structures that grow up from the gametophyte. The capsule of a moss sporophyte contains spores called sporangia. When they are mature, they are released, and if it lands on a favorable spot, it can grow a gametophyte. Gametophyte. A moss gametophyte produces gametes in special reproductive structures. Once a sperm fertilizes an egg cell, the cycle starts again.
Life cycle of seedless vascular plants, ferns. The sporophyte is the dominant phase for all vascular, seed and seedless plants. This means that the plants you recognize as ferns are sporophytes. At the underside of the fern leaf, you might see sorry. which are clusters of sporia, which are in charge of producing spores. If spore land in a favorable place, the spore may become into a gametophyte. Fern gametophyte is often called prothallus. They contain special reproductive structures which produce sperm cells and egg cells. When a sperm cell fertilizes, an egg cell, a zygote, forms on the prothallus. Eventually, the prothallus rots and the zygote grows, forming a fern plant. Life cycles of seed plants, conifers.
Difference between seedless plants and seed plants. Seed plants produce two types of spores that develop into male and female gametophytes. Gametophytes of seed plants are microscopic.
Sporophytes. Pine trees are conifer sporophytes. A pine tree has male and female cone. The female cones are often bigger and more scaly than male cone. Each scale of female cone has two ovals. These produce spores. Male spores are produced in male cones. Gametophyte. In each female gametophyte, only one spore will develop in each oval, which will produce an egg. Male spores develop into pollen grains, the male gametophyte of seed plants. Pollination. Male cones release clouds of pollen in the spring. When a pollen grain lands on a female cone, it sticks. Pollination occurs when the pollen grain reaches the small opening of the ovule. Eggs have been produced in the ovule, and sperm develop from one cell of the pollen grain. A pollen tube grows from the pollen grain towards an egg. In pine trees, this can take an year, even though the distance is only several millimeters. Fertilization. The sperm travels down the pollen tube toward the egg. One sperm will fertilize an egg, forming a zygote. The zygote will develop into an embryo. Meanwhile, the ovule develops into a protective seed. A new cycle. When the seeds are mature, the scales of the cone open up and release them. The pine tree seedling that grows from the seeds is the sporophyte of a new generation.